If you get the role, like those first 3 weeks, you actually feel like you suck. Keep trying. Keep trying. You just gotta keep trying. You put the consistent effort in.
Do you feel like you're actually on a path that's going to let you hit those personal goals you had of taking care of your parents one day? Some of y'all think you have to have a college degree to break into tech sales. You're wrong. I've got Lorenzo joining us today. In just 15 days after landing his first interview, he had an 80K fully remote tech sales offer on the table. We're going to talk through exactly how he did it so that you listening today can go implement some new things to help you on your job search. Enjoy. Let's go before tech sales, right? So your major, philosophy major, right?
That's right.
Okay, so most people that I talk to who are in college, they usually wait till after they get out of college before they start the job search. You did the right thing, which is no, I'm going to start now. Can you walk me through that thought process of like, was there a temptation to wait till after you were graduated? And why did you ultimately decide to start the search before graduation?
Yeah. So to answer the first part, I mean, of course, there's a temptation to wait until the end, especially the program itself, because the program is so much more intense than just like your average. I'm gonna spam 80 easy LinkedIn applies a day,
Yeah.
right? But that's just a waste of time, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, but I just really wanted to be locked in after the summer. I didn't want to have this like phase where I'm just kind of like bopping around my parents' house, doing whatever, trying to apply, kind of being a bum, you know.
Yeah.
And even if you're trying really hard to get a job, like you're still kind of being a bum. Like, you just can't escape it, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't want to have to deal with it because I didn't want to have to feel like that, you know. I
Mm.
just thought it would feel like bad. So I just wanted to be locked in and ready to go right from the get go. Um, and I also just was excited to get a good job and to work hard for that. And I didn't really know how long that would take. So I was just like, I'm going to start now, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that was the main point. But also with the fact that it's like remote too, like the job could be remote. It's not like I'm committing to, I'm going to live over here in the middle and I don't even know where, right? It's like, you know, it's really easy. I can get locked in on a job offer and I don't have to even think of where I'm living yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Did your family support you right away with doing the job search before graduation, or did you come across any friction?
No, I mean they were super supportive. My parents, we're an immigrant family from Mexico, so like they get it. They got the work mentality. You know, they understand.
Yeah.
Um, totally supportive. Supported me with the price of the program itself.
Hmm.
They were all for it. They were just like, make sure you graduate, which is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
So
Let's go. Congrats, man. Come on. And I remember you talking about family being such a huge motivator, right? Like being able to not just take care of your family one day and have that foundation, but to actually like give back up generationally to your parents who have made sacrifices. What what was it like before tech to kind of think about your career path and how ambiguous it might have been if you didn't go right into tech as it relates to like you wanting to take care of your family? Were you very anxious about like what career path do I go towards, or did you know that it was tech all the way? Like, how did all that sit?
I was honestly like super unsure about it. Um, like I mean, honestly, it's just like hard to get a job, like period. It seems like these days,
Hmm.
unless you like know the in and out. Like your method like seems to work. I think that would work in just like a lot of industries. Honestly, at least give you some sort of edge. Without that, it just seems really difficult. And also, like what I would do, you know, I can't do finance. I can't. I don't know marketing. It's like all these branches of a business, right? Which is like sales, people ops, HR, marketing, finance. Like if you don't work at any of those, the majority of the businesses just don't need you.
Hmm.
Like they actually just have no use for you or your skill set. So I was just kind of like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I didn't want to be a teacher, not because I think the teaching is great, but like it doesn't make any money. I don't want to like be a professor because it's impossible and you still make no money. I wasn't just gonna go into grad school and like pretend like everything was okay. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do that either.
Yeah.
So I think tech, like I was super unclear on where what I was going to do, what my path was going to be, and when someone introduced me to tech sales, as like and even sales generally as like a sort of field in which you don't need like a prior degree to really excel in. It's just a certain skill set which is extremely specific to the field that you can excel in, and especially in tech, which is really well paying, huge, like great career trajectory, and you can even do it remote. Like that's what really gave me clarity on like, oh, this is something I can really do, and it's really going to take me to the next level through my whole life.
Yeah, man. It's a very different outlook once you understand where tech can take you. It's like, oh, okay, I don't need a lot of experience as long as I'm hungry, as long as I'm willing to learn. Anyone can thrive in it. So you been aware of tech before coming across my stuff, or was it all brand new and then, somehow we got connected?
Like tech sales specifically, or just like the tech
Tech
industry.
sales, yeah, specifically.
I did know. Well, I had a friend who worked in tech sales over the summer as an internship, but I didn't. I wasn't really aware of like what tech sales was. I just thought he was just some like telemarketer guy, whatever. Um, but as like February came by, and I was like really stressing about the job search, we were talking about stuff, and he mentioned like tech sales as a field that is, like I said, it's like doable with my degree. I just need to be hungry and learn. He introduced me to a few people who work in tech sales, and that's one of those people referenced me to your stuff, and he's like, this guy is like a good, has like, especially like even your free video is like, this is like a good baseline like you can use just to like get started.
Yeah. So we connect over the free stuff. What kind of was your rationale behind deciding to go in all in and work with me directly versus kind of the DIY route? Figure it out on my own. I've got enough videos online.
um it was just that like you in your program yourself, you talk a lot about mentorship and how it's really important. I really recognize the value of a good mentor, and just like sort of apprenticeship generally is like an extremely valuable way to like learn anything. It's
Yeah.
just like learn from someone who does it, knows how to do it well.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is probably going to make it way easier, and I'm going to learn way more than I would by myself way faster. And I pay $5,000, and then I land an 80K roll, and like a month later, I already pay, what I mean? Like that's already $5,000. So
Yeah.
like, what do I really have to lose?
Yeah. Yeah. When you get a good mentor and you just do what they say, and that's that's what I think was so good about you, man, is you were just so coachable. You're like, okay, what do I do? I was like, go do this, and you go do it, and then boom, 15 days after your first interview you have an offer. It's like, well, it's because you were coachable, right? And you were willing to submit to that process. And not a lot of people do that, and they typically will either pay in time or money with anything, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're either going to go pay off the ignorance debt of 6 months of trying to break into tech sales on your own and all the costs associated with not having that income, not having that career path, or you can work with a coach, streamline the results, and you're there much quicker. And in your case, man, like I didn't even think you'd have a job before ended, so that was a bit surprising. But you made it work, and it's like the best scenario possible.
Yeah,
How has that been trying to work while you're finishing up college and classes and all that?
it's been honestly insane. I like to be an organized person, and I love making schedules and stuff. But even now, I haven't figured out like a specific way like I can do everything this way. Um, Thankfully, my manager was like, "Yeah, it's like 'cause I'm taking some. He's like, for like two of my classes, it's fine. And like, I just don't work. I just like go to that class, and it's like whatever." Um, but it's been difficult. Uh, Thankfully, a lot of my classes are paper based, so it's not like a lot of busy work. I just like lock in for like a night and rip out the paper.
Yeah,
Um, but it's been a real challenge in sort of like discipline for sure,
yeah.
and also like organizational skills. Like, yeah, it's just hectic. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Your baseline right now is running at like 120% of capacity. So when you're done with school, man, you're going to be running at like 90% of capacity. and you're gonna feel so different. You're gonna be like, oh, I only have
Oh
to
yeah,
focus on one thing every day. That's amazing.
it's gonna be incredible.
Yeah. Um, I remember for you just looking at like the actual job search process. Actually, if you have any quick numbers, ballpark, do you know how many jobs you applied to and how many interviews you landed? Ballpark.
Jobs I applied to, I want to say, well, let's see, maybe like 40 or more, I think. And interviews I landed was, well, no, I think it was like 30 to 40 jobs I applied to, and then I got two interviews, maybe more.
Okay. And when you reflect on the two interview cycles you were in, what was the hardest part of the process? What stood out to you the most?
Definitely just, I mean, just carrying yourself with confidence, just like being unafraid, and I think that's really valuable of just not clearly just like bowing down to whoever's interviewing you, you know,
Hmm.
I think is something that's just like, yeah, just like being confident, not being afraid, especially like when they
Yeah.
give you, I don't know, like for me, like the VP was just like totally like clearly like he doesn't care, and maybe he does that. Like I know him now, and he's a little bit like just like more of that kind of guy. But
Yeah.
it's probably also just a little bit of a tactic, and just like it's difficult to just brush that off,
Hmm.
and still just be like, I know my value.
Well, you have two dings against you. One is you don't have the requisite sales experience, right, that everyone wants for these SDR roles. But two, you were still in college, right? And you're a very mature
Yeah,
guy, but when you look at it holistically, it's like, oh, like this dude's very like green, right? He's very young in his career. So you had to push against both those boulders at the same time. And I imagine someone hit you at least once with the yeah, I guess the only potential concern is you don't have the formal experience, right? How did you handle that resistance? What did you actually say to like objection handle that?
I think initially one of the sales managers had some of that issue, but honestly, he for one of them he was just like, we'll see with the mock, they have a mock cold call. He was like honestly, like, I know you don't have the experience, but like we'll just see how you are at the cold call. And then like it's like that's what I care about. Like if you can pass that, like it'll be fine,
Yeah.
right? So thankfully with that it was totally chill. And the other one, I didn't get to the final thing because I accepted the other offer before I got super deep. But
Yeah.
thankfully with that one, they seemed really impressed that I had just like multi-channeled them so much. So I think that's what got me even into the interview. Is
Yeah.
just like the proof of like I know how to outreach in some respect.
That's the beauty of doing the job to get the job. Because it's like when they hit you with those objections, like, oh, you've never done this. We have other candidates we're looking at that might have experience. It's like, okay, how many of those candidates have cold called you though? Because that's how I landed the interview. How many are doing the sequencing and the outbound? So for the mock call specifically, there's a lot of people listening. It's the Breaking into Tech Sales podcast, right? So a lot of people listening who are probably struggling with the cold call, the mock call. What would some advice be from you about how to approach that, especially someone that hasn't done cold calling formally before?
Yeah, I think especially like, from my angle, like I had no experience actually like calling people or even like in person door knocking, like
Yeah.
literally no sales experience. Like I said, I think just like remaining calm and sounding in control, like sounding confident and not sounding desperate, right? And just having those low intonations, not over articulating, but just like being confident, like sound like you are in control, sound like you're confident, sound like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what's like most important, you know? That is going to get you, in my opinion, like that's like 40, even 50% of the equation is
Mhm.
like this guy, because if you're like stuttering a little bit, like that's fine. And even if that does happen, just like be chill, keep going, be confident. But that's gonna get you most of the way there.
Yeah.
The second is just, yeah, I mean, prepare well.
Yeah.
Just prepare well. Like know the company, know what the industry that they sell to is, probably for sure. Um, and I think, yeah, honestly, I think the majority is just like be confident, be in control, sound like you're in control.
I'll give you the manager perspective there too of why that's so important. Every time my clients go into mock calls, I just say, hey, calm, confident. That's it, calm, confident. And if you want to add a third C, coachable. On the back end of the call, are you proactively asking for the feedback? When they tell you, hey, I think you could have done this better, do you say, oh, okay, and kind of shut down? Or do you engage with that, like, oh, that's a really good point. I definitely should have said that. Hey, can we go back
Mm-hmm.
for like 10, 15 seconds and can you throw that objection at me again so I can practice? Even if you don't do it on the interview, they just saw how coachable you are. Like, oh, yeah, this dude, I can smack him in the face with feedback. He's going to be okay. He likes it. But back to the tone, it matters so much because I can teach someone a script. That's fine. But I can't teach you, or it's going to take a long time to teach you how to just be a confident person and just like not crack on the phone. So I don't really care what script people use and what format they bring into the cold calls as much as I do. Can you deliver that script with calm confidence? And even if you mess up, to your point, can you laugh it off in the call and play it off cool and be confident? Because I can teach you the rest. But if you're going to come into my team and you're a nervous wreck and you don't want to mess up and you're just on eggshells the whole time, that's a lot of effort for me to coach that out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So good job, man.
For sure.
College grad who
Thanks.
never made cold calls, just crushing a mock call like that. Um, take me to the
Not
offer.
even a college grad.
Yeah, exactly. Take me to the moment you got the offer. I think you were in class or something, right? What happened?
Yeah, I was in class.
Oh, did you get an email? How did that go down?
No, they called me and I had to like take the call. I had to like go to the bathroom, and take the call.
Tell me about it. What
But it
did
was
you
awesome.
say? What? How did that go down?
Well, they told me that they like great. I have really good news. They really liked you. Got great feedback. The manager said you were great. We want to extend you the offer. I was like, awesome. And then they were like, yeah, like the start date is like the 31st of like March, and I was like, wow, that's great. Is because it's just like one of the starting classes, right? Because the big companies, they literally had like 50 people start on that day. um and so I was like, wow, that's awesome. Could I move that though, maybe? And they were like, nah, not really. So there was a little bit of like fear because it's a huge commitment. I wasn't just gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll do it. So I was like, okay, let me think it over. Um, let's see like let me think it over. I'm really excited about this though. I didn't want them to like, I don't know, drop me or something. Um, Thankfully I was able to make it work out. I was like, okay, you know what? My professors, like a few of my professors were like, it's kind of chill. They kind of understand. And I was like, I'm just gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it. And I have to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
Um, but it was exciting. It was awesome.
Wow.
And what I found out actually later is that there was three positions they were hiring for, right? And the other two people started this week, I think, or this past week. Um, so I guess they wanted me first,
Hey.
which is kind of
Okay.
awesome.
Who's the first person you told?
The first person I told was just my girlfriend because she was like there on campus with me,
Come on.
and then I called my parents that night, and it was awesome.
What did they all say? What did your girlfriend say?
My girlfriend was super excited, right? She knows I've been working hard. She's seen me like grind every night on Apollo, um, and she was just really excited and proud of me that I got after it.
Yeah, man. Come on. Let's go. So, when you think about the opportunity in front of you, it's phenomenal company, by the way. Great company you ended up at. Do you feel do you feel like you're actually on a path that's going to let you hit those personal goals you had of taking care of your parents one day? Is that a reality now?
100. I think 100%. Like I think the beauty of this sales job, especially in tech, because yeah, two things, because it's sales and it's tech, right? And in sales, put in more effort, you're better, you make more money. And it's also, if your company for some reason doesn't want to promote you after like a year and a half, and you're crushing it, you can just show your numbers to another company, and they'll be like, oh yeah, like we'll hire you, we'll make you an AE or something. You know what I mean? Like that's what's great, is that like the fact that like I really have the power to get myself more money and progress in my career. I just have to be better.
Mm,
And then if I'm better, they'll see it, and like no one can deny it. Like I did really make that many sales.
subjective.
Um, yeah, and also because it's in tech, is that there's just so much opportunity. All the innovation these days is in technology. It's in tech companies. They're starting up all over the place. All the funding going to tech,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So it's also that, like, yeah, it's just a land of opportunity, and everybody needs to sell.
Mhm.
Everyone needs to make money, so everyone needs people who are good at selling in tech. And so, like, it just seems like, yeah, if I get good at this, like, it's gonna be great.
Nailed it. One of the common kind of concerns I hear from people interested in tech sales is like, what about AI? It's like, bro, no, there's no one's going to be buying 30,000, 50,000, 300,000, $3 million contracts from a robot. That's not going to happen, right? Like you won't even trust a robot to sell you a stick of bubble gum at this point. And humans buy from humans. To your point, man, where is all the money going to be going for the next 30 years, 50 years? Tech. Where else is it
Mhm.
going to go? Right. So, to your point of like having these companies need people to represent them, their offer, and bring it to other human beings to make strategic decisions, to make massive purchases. And someone is going to be collecting commission checks over the next 30, 50 years of tech growth. You got to get in on that, right? Like the dot com,
Mhm.
I don't remember the exact numbers. It's something like it had a $4 trillion valuation, like of how big of a difference that made. The expected AI boom is by 2030, by the way, is supposed to be $14 trillion. So it's like, holy crap, it's about to take off. And so, yeah, I think people worried about robots taking sales jobs. It it definitely is relevant for other roles where you're doing data entry and that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
inventory, warehousing, whatever. But no, humans buy from humans at the end of the day. Have you thought through any of that as you've stepped into the industry?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And you see it on LinkedIn, like you're looking at LinkedIn pages. I sell to salespeople, right?
Yeah.
So even just the profiles I look at, um, a lot of people. It's interesting the way it works. Like LinkedIn is just like really weird. There is a lot of like people just like make AI posts and then they just post it. But I think it was like a month ago. I forgot. It was like a few companies in the tech space were like starting to try out like some SDR AI technology, and there was just like a huge like backlash. Everyone got scared, but like at this point, it just doesn't work. Everyone realized it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I have thought that through. I think it's true. Like at least entry level roles. Like I don't know if you work in like finance,
Mhm.
like a robot can do financial work. Like that's kind of what it's for. Honestly, it's just math.
Yeah.
Like that's like actually what it's best at. Maybe even marketing at an entry level role, right? For sure. But like you're right. Like people, right? Like even for me, no one buys off an email, right? Now most people don't. No one is ever gonna buy off an email. You might like get a demo, but you're no one's ever gonna be like, oh yeah, like just from text. And no one's going to want to hear an AI robot talk to them on a demo or a cold call to like a contract value. Like no one wants that.
No.
Like that's just like not, you would just feel like an idiot, or something. Like you would just feel like it's just so wrong.
I'm picturing that right now. Like if some fully automated AI system hit me up for some solution, I'd be like, no, like I'm not, I don't trust you. I don't know who
Yeah.
programmed you and if you're actually going to work and show up and yada yada. So yeah, man, it's an exciting time to get in for sure. I guess the last question I have for you, is I'm thinking about the people who might be in your shoes, right? They're about to finish college, they're coming up on kind of the summer job search, or maybe they're not in college at all, they're trying to break into tech. Looking at your whole journey and what actually worked for you, what's something that you would tell them to start doing tomorrow to actually make a difference in their job search?
Yeah, I mean, I think if they're like at a, depending on what level they are, if they don't, first of all, like I would say, let's just look at your free content. First of all, I think it's super helpful, and just get knowledgeable about the tech and sales space. If you know someone who's in tech, if you know someone who knows someone who's in tech, start making those connections with people who actually work at companies. Talk to them, give them a call. They're like honestly like super down to help you out. It's kind of incredible. Even for like 15 minutes, like a 15-minute call, like totally fine. And just learn about what it means, like how the day to day is, um, and just like what the landscape is. I think just yeah, like being knowledgeable about tech and about what the SDR role is, because it is confusing in the sense that it's like the entry level role, but in a certain sense, it's like the most important role, in a way, because some AEs will get their own opportunities. Like I think the better ones honestly will. They're not going to sit around. Depending on how good your SDR team is, um, they'll go for their own pipeline, but like they're not going to generate as nearly as much as like an SDR team. You know, um, so you're really important as an SDR role, and that's we start to contextualize why it's so hard to break in, because these people really have to trust you. Like if you suck, like literally the company fails.
Yeah.
That's actually what happens. Like if you suck and you can't sell, like literally everyone gets fired and the company dies.
Yeah.
That's literally what happens.
Yeah.
Um, and knowing that is really important. Just like knowing the structure of sales and therefore like the entire company, and knowing like what the role is to play, which is for somehow like the critical role, honestly.
Mm, nailed it. I think a lot of people come into this entry level role thinking it's like kind of an order taker role, just like all you do is you're just like a cog in the machine. If that's your mindset around the role, you're wrong. I totally agree with what you're saying, Lorenzo. Like understanding the value and purpose of you being in that seat is going to dictate how you show up, not only to the role, but to the interviews. And if you can bring a lot of composure, a lot of confidence, a lot of understanding of you're not just a cold caller. You're someone who's strategically working with your account executives to break into these accounts that if you guys can land a contract in, will help everyone get paid for the next year. Like that is the SDR role. The lifeblood of the organization is all revenue base. So I love that. I think that's an encouraging way to end. Is there anything that I didn't ask you, but you want to say anyway?
Um, no, I just got to reemphasize that Dunning Kruger effect, man. It's super real, 100%. Like yeah, like the first, or like if you get the role, like those first 3 weeks, you actually feel like you suck. Like you are literally the worst human being ever. You have no value. There's actually nothing you can do. You know nothing. Everyone thinks you suck, and everyone knows you suck. But you just gotta, and like in a sense, like yeah, like that's true. But it's because you just started. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Keep trying. Keep trying. You just gotta keep trying. You put the consistent effort in, and you'll get there eventually.
Well said. Well, Lorenzo, thank you for trusting me on your career search journey. I'm glad it was so fast and you didn't even graduate yet, and you've got a great job. Praise God for that. I'm very excited to see how your career develops from here. Don't be a stranger. You're part of Sword for the rest of your career. So anything you need, we're going to be right here.